Oz, my man, what's up?
How's it going, Tom? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm here in the wild. Don't have my headset today. I'm actually at our office location, um, not the apartment. Beard's coming in nice. Yours is looking good as ever.
Trying to catch up.
I'm trying to catch up, man. I'm uh, I'm taking cold plunges. I did a record 15 minutes in 4 sets uh, this week.
That's wild, man. I see it online sometimes, and I'm just not. I don't know if I'm
You
about
haven't
that
done
life,
it yet?
but I can't say I've done it at a spa. Like
Mm-hmm.
there was an outdoor spa here in Canada, and they have like hot pools, cold pools, salt. Like it's an amazing place. It's in close to the
Indoor,
capital, Ottawa.
outdoor.
Indoor, outdoor, exactly. And I went into the cold there, and I stayed there for probably a minute or two. But I don't think it's as cold as what you're doing, probably.
I don't know, dude. You got to come out to Poland. We've got such a sick vibe. We go to this place called the Black Banya, and
Hmm.
man, it's just this beautiful little place in the middle of a like wooded field, and there's a little pond, yeah, that freezes in the winter, and
Hmm.
there's fish and frogs, and then you just got this beautiful view of a sunset, and it's such a great experience because you knock out like three birds with one stone. You get to talk to buddies, you get to work on like a mental, relax on a mental level, but also challenge
Hmm.
yourself mentally, and then
Hmm.
physically it's just fucking does wonders for your health and your body. um
Well,
I
hopefully
don't
one day I can make it to Poland, man. I have a really good Polish friend, and yeah, I would love to come there one day, and then we could one day do a Turkish bath too, bro.
dude, i've been
The
to
hammam.
i've been to where did I go? Cappadocia. I
Oh,
did
nice,
A
beautiful.
Turkish bath in Cappadocia when I was like, I don't know, 17, 18. And that's when like I first started exploring like sauna, cold plunges, and seeing
Hmm. Hmm.
seeing the like the beauty of it, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, brother, let's get into it. What we got in today's video, in today's news. We've got Conor McGregor releasing new sparring footage from The Ultimate Fighter 31. We've got Dustin Poirier reacting to Justin Gaethje's claims that he is the most exciting fighter in UFC history. Gaethje says he could knock out Islam Makhachev, and Conor McGregor fires back at Justin, who said he'll quit if Conor gets a title shot. And then April 8th, we've got a big fight coming up, Izzy Pereira, and we'll talk on that at the end. Let's get into it. Conor McGregor has released new sparring footage from The Ultimate Fighter 31. In the video, McGregor can be seen sparring one of the contestants and talking to him throughout the sparring session. Conor captioned the video writing, "I love fighting so dearly. I had a great experience coaching and training with a solid crew of young athletes on The Ultimate Fighter, uh, alongside my longtime, all-time all-star team, airing May 20th everywhere." Have you seen the clip?
Yeah, I have seen the clip, and Connor has a history of these like sparring teases or showing himself training, right, to get his fans riled up, and from his perspective and from the UFC's perspective, it's good because it keeps him in the conversation and gets people excited. Like, hate him or love him, the guy has a lot of eyeballs. He's one of the biggest stars in the sport, right? And so every time he releases one of these videos, everybody goes crazy. Now, as a fan who kind of knows, as a fan who's
As
been
a
watching
more
his,
advanced fan, I guess you could say.
yeah, like I think, like, what does it mean? Like, did he look so sharp, and did it look like did his physique look like he'd been training really hard, and are all those things there? No, like I don't think it's not like a telling thing where I think now, oh, Connor's looking so good in training
Mm-hmm.
or sparring that I think he's going to be a problem when he comes back.
Mm.
But it's still exciting because he potentially has that Chandler fight, and there's so many big fights for him to come back to in the UFC. So I'm glad that as much as I'll throw my bias out there. I hate Connor. I'm not a Connor. I'm not a Connor fan at all. But he's extremely important to the sport, right? And
Mm-hmm.
what is he, 1-3 or 1-4? in his last
Not the
3
best,
fights.
not the best as of late,
Not the best,
but
yeah. But
still,
I'm excited.
Still eyeballs, and he still landed a nice uppercut. I feel like the other guy that was going up against him was legit like scared and worried. He's like, "Fuck, I can't touch Connor too hard here,"
Yeah.
And just kind of, for a young guy coming up in the sport, it's got to be a quite the opportunity and feeling to go up against Connor, and you do have to be careful because like if you injure him, I imagine Connor's gonna be so pissed, right? Coming off all those injuries and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean it's actually just really exciting, the whole Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor and Tough. Like I can't wait to watch that, man. I think that's gonna be
really fun.
It's gonna be for sure the biggest Ultimate Fighter of all time. Right,
the Ultimate Fighter is what got me into like the UFC at another level. Before the Ultimate Fighter, I kind of felt like, man, this is kind of like chicken fights. I've been to Bali and I've watched chicken fights there, and I kind of felt like shit. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be doing this. The UFC cage fighting felt a little bit like that. Before the Ultimate Fighter, and then you got to know some of these guys like the Rashad Evans and Rampage, and you see that they're people, and that this really is a sport, right? Well, like take me back to some of your memories from the Ultimate Fighter.
Man, for me, like it was a cool show, and I watched it, but I was already so kind of into it already that
really, you were already you were in the underground days.
Yeah, like like we used to rent. When I was like 13 or 14, we used to rent from Blockbuster Video, bro. I don't know if people know about Blockbuster. I don't know what you know about Blockbuster, but yeah, we rented the first 2 UFCs from Blockbuster, and then we had satellite, so we'd watch like every event. Not every. I'm sure I missed a lot of events. I'm just saying and I have a terrible memory. But
who were you watching that with back then?
Oh, my little brother. My little brother was like, oh, how old was he? He was, if I was 14, he would have been like 6, 7, 8.
Really?
Yeah.
Did your little brother also box and fight a little bit growing up?
Yeah. So he started when he was young. He did boxing, and we both did kickboxing at one point too at a local gym here. And then
outside of what city? You said Ottawa, but what city are you in?
So it's I'm in Windsor. I'm in Windsor, which is right on the border from Detroit. So a lot of times when people ask me, I just say I'm Canadian, but I'm near Detroit, right? Like I spent
I'm near the Dirty D.
Exactly, yeah. A lot of good memories. Shout out Detroit.
Okay, nice.
But
as a Canadian, are you can just roll on into Detroit for the weekend? No worries, right?
Not even the weekend, man. We go just for a dinner downtown, or there's sporting events. We got the Detroit Lions, Detroit Pistons, Detroit Red Wings.
That's interesting.
The Tigers, right, in baseball, and there's a lot of like comedy events, shows, concerts. The airport's right there.
Yeah, so you're pretty much a Detroit guy.
I'd say I think everybody in Windsor claims Detroit. We all kind of, and like I was saying, like when I was younger, I hung out there a lot. Like we were there 3-4 nights a week, right? So. Yeah.
Any events in Detroit that ever went down that you went to?
Yeah, Francis Ngannou and what's his name? Alistair Overeem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that event was there. I heard inklings that an event might come back this summer, but I haven't seen anything on paper. But yeah,
how was that fight? What was it like to experience it? I know we're going a little off topic, but fuck it.
Yeah, so
I'm getting to know you.
My little brother went. My little brother, he's like, he's not little anymore, but yeah, my brother went to the fights. I didn't end up going. I went to the only UFC fights I've been to. I saw Khabib Nurmagomedov. So this is the greatest card of all time. One of the greatest cards of all time. So it was in Toronto. Alexander Gustafsson versus John Jones, the first fight.
Oh, what an awesome fight to be at.
Yeah, man. Henan Barrow fought on that card. Brendan Schaub, Khabib. Like I went for Khabib, right? Khabib Nurmagomedov fought Pat Healy. And then there was one other interesting fight on there too. I can't remember. My memory's terrible. I think it was 2014, October 2014, 13. But yeah, it was that was one of the greatest events. And then I went to Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira in Abu Dhabi, which was a historical moment, right? So those two fights, like both of those, like mean a lot to me because obviously, at that time, 2013, I'd already been watching all of the Dagestani fighters and Bellator and UFC, and the Chechen fighters. There was guys like Adlan Amagov, Mirbek Taisumov. Yeah, like there was two fighters in Bellator. My memory's so bad. One guy named Shabalat.
Is Ankalaev also Dagestani?
Yeah.
Ankalaev too. Wow, you guys have so many freaking warriors.
Between like the Kafkas, let's say, right, which is like a lot of different like kind of smaller groups. Very similar culture, but yeah, Dagestan, Chechnya, Karachay, like Ossetia. There's so many good fighters, obviously, right? Like the combat sambo is huge there, wrestling's huge there. So yeah, but at that time we were so excited because there was so many like really good fighters coming up, and so we'd watch, like it'd be a Thursday night, and I'd be watching Bellator when not many people were really into it.
When did you hear about Khabib? Do you remember the moment that like you first like really caught wind of him?
I want to say it was his first or second fight in the UFC.
Really?
Yeah, and yeah, like right away. I mean, like we talked about it before, right? Like I have a huge affinity. Obviously, my ancestors are from Dagestan, from Sulakar, and so like I'm the type of person that if I have some sort of connection to something, like I love it even more. Like if we're talking about European football, everyone's like, "What's your favorite team?" I'm a Galatasaray fan. It's Turkish league, right? They're never going to be competitive again. But when Turkish soccer players go to a team like Real Madrid or something, I'll actually support Real Madrid, or I'll support whatever team they go to, right? So anyways, long story short,
yeah. Well, are you talking about guys that come up through that club, or guys that come up from Turkey?
From Turkey, yeah, like from
Turkey.
Yeah, my family migrated to Turkey. There was a war going on. Again, timelines are escaping me, but like in the late 1800s, early 1900s, so they started migrating to Turkey from there, and
you're like second generation, third generation Turkish, would you say now? Like your parents?
Like my parents were from? Yeah, they came from born raised Turkey. They came. My mom came here when she was like 14. My dad came when he was 28. I want to say 20.
And you were born in the U.S.
Yeah, I was born in Canada.
Okay, or Canada. Okay, so same story pretty much we have as far as my parents born in Poland, and at a young age they moved to the U.S. and had me there. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah, man, it's good to have. It's a really good thing to have these cultural ties. Like I'm not a nationalist in the sense that I think one's better than the other. Like there's advantages and disadvantages to everyone, but it's good to have those different perspectives, right? Like to have those different cultures, and there's certain things about yourself that you're like, oh, I didn't even realize I did this, and this is super, this is from this culture, from that culture, like so. Yeah,
I think cultures are so beautiful, and they make life like 30 million times more interesting. Just what I love to think about is like what the world might have looked like during ancient culture. So like ancient Turkey, imagine going to like Istanbul and like being at the bazaars back then and seeing like spice vendors, and like you can still get that today, but just imagining it back then, and like that must have been such a hub of culture, and like the crossroads of different people, like what life there was like. And then imagine going and like the dishes, the cooking, like oh my god, going to a restaurant in Istanbul.
You're gonna be excited. You're getting me first of all, I'm fasting, so I'm like I'm hungry, right? But the cuisine, like the Turkish cuisine, the reason it's, in my opinion, it's so good is because you have Turkish cuisine, but it's so heavily influenced by Europeans,
it's the Silk Road,
North Africa, North Africa, Middle East, like Eastern Europe, 8 parts of Asia. So I mean, like, yeah, man, the cuisine there, and even each city has their own dish. They have their own barbecues.
Oh man,
I'll go on the record saying nobody's messing with Turkish food, man. That's number one. Like I won't say they're number one at a lot, but
debatable.
I'd love to have that debate.
What's your favorite cuisine? What's your favorite food?
Oh
Or
man.
closest food?
So I love
Yours
it's
is
called
Turkish. I'm asking.
well actually
I'm
no
asking the one viewer we have.
actually like our family is like because we're Dagestani, we actually have a lot of native Dagestani dishes, and those are my favorite hands down. Like I love
Mm.
we have kurza and hinkel. Hinkel is like a pierogi.
Hinkali.
Yeah.
I'm in Eastern Poland, and we have hinkali dishes from. Yeah, that's really good. It's like kind of like pierogies that
Yeah.
are like they have this beautiful like tip top at the top,
Oh yeah,
and they're
man.
filled with like juicy, good meat.
All the women in my family are so good at making them, man. It's like
Mm.
that's my favorite. Everyone makes fun of me because I always bring this up, but I ate 65 in one sitting once, and I was like wrecked. Yeah, I was
Out.
wrecked.
That is insane, dude.
I was probably 17 or 18. You know,
Oh man,
skinny,
Oz
but
was growing. How tall are you?
I'm 6'2", probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a growth spurt
6'2",
days.
probably. Yeah, no, I'm in between 6'1" and 6'2". If I'm being honest, yeah.
Nice,
But yeah, that's my favorite dish I think of all time. And then we Turkish dishes I really like. I love the barbecue. Like I love the kebab. Like oh my
There's a
god,
lot
man.
of good rice
Adana
dishes,
kebab. I like
if I
the Adana
remember well.
kebab. And then there's something called Iskender, which is
Iskender.
Iskender. Yeah, bro. That's
Oh man.
what about in Poland? You guys, I know you have sauerkraut. You have similar things like uh, stuffed peppers, wrapped grape leaves,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you guys
So
have some.
that's me and my boys. I like going camping and fishing and that kind of stuff. Me and my boys just recently we went to this cool river spot, and we got something called a kochołek, which is very popular in Polish culture. And kochołek's this big cast iron, like pot kind of. And what you do is you take cabbage and you line it you line the pot with this cast iron pot with cabbage, and then into there you throw in like good like ribs or lamb and potatoes and spices and just like peppers and just good things. And then you put that on the fire and you just let it go for 2 hours, and it starts to smell like gołąbki. Gołąbki is also a good Polish food, which is cabbage wrapped like meat and rice. And then you just feast in the woods over a fire. Everything seems to taste better. So yeah. When the next time you travel to Europe, you've got to come to Poland, and then we've got to go to Turkey.
Yeah.
And cool.
Yeah, and if I am planning to it's on my bucket list, and it's one thing I want to do before I die is go to Dagestan and visit like the village that my ancestors came from. Like that's really important to me, and that's something I will do. I have the intention to do that this summer. We'll see how life is. It's
how
not
life
easy.
plays out.
Yeah, it's not easy to like just go for 2 or 3 weeks with work and everything else. But yeah, man, that's my intention. When I do that, then maybe I could spend a few days there.
Yeah,
too.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing, man. All right, Oz. So, we were talking about McGregor sparring. Yeah, going against McGregor would be sick, would be wild. Did you want to add anything to that clip?
No, I think again, just to summarize, it's good. It builds hype. He has a huge fan base. But to me,
marketing.
It doesn't really. Yeah, marketing and like exposure and just getting people excited, like his fans. But to me, it's
have you seen that latest Instagram post he sent where he's just like flexing in his car? And he's just like throw the bullshit out the window. Oh, it's such a funny clip. I'll have to send it to you later or play it here. But yeah, McGregor is such a character,
personality, man. He's a personality,
Yeah.
But I don't think it means like. So I don't think it means what gets me excited, which means like somebody could make a run for the belt, and I don't think he, I don't think that's there.
He
anymore.
has any shot.
No, I don't think he has it. Like everyone else has been grinding, man. Everyone else has been in the mud, going to war, and he's been, and I don't blame him. Like in that regard, like he's living his life. But I mean, I just don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's going to be a champ or make a run for the belt. Like, they might give him a title shot, but I don't think he's.
You don't think he's going to win whoever it's against?
No, I don't think he has a chance.
Do you even think he wins against Chandler?
Chandler's he's probably. I could be wrong, but I think he's a smaller 155, right? And if that fight happens at 170,
Connor's got an advantage.
He does, and Connor's not that reckless. Chandler is. So
Connor's known for that counter strike, right? Chandler's going to come in and he might get caught. But
Chandler.
Then, like, because like there's that Aldo McGregor fight where Aldo comes in with that and Connor
that was
right
McGregor at 145. That was prime time McGregor. Like that that era of Conor McGregor is a different beast than now.
Do you think that now at this heavier weight, what if the same thing happened and Chandler received that? Does it take Chandler out? Does that?
I don't think he can. I don't think he's that. I don't think he's that nimble at 170. Like, he's still quick. Like, he's an amazing striker, bro. Nobody's. I can't say
that's
that
his
he's not.
thing. That's his
bread and butter, man.
Precision artist, right?
Yeah, but
I think he can still land that clean shot on the chin. I just don't know if it takes Chandler out at that weight.
So at 170, is he messing with Shavkai? Is he messing with Colby? Is he messing with Leon? Is he messing with Kamaru? Is he messing with Masvidal? Burns, bro, come on. It's like it's a joke. Like, you know what I mean? To compare him, in my opinion, again, I'm biased. I don't like the guy for some of the things he said. Like, I took those very personally, but I don't think he has a chance at 170, and I don't think he can make 155. His jaw seems to have gotten a lot bigger, and his forehead. The boy's thick now, right? And like, so I don't know if he's making it at 155. And I mean, Dustin
Poirier doesn't
Poirier
have that beard protection anymore either, right?
Exactly, bro. Exactly. No, but at 155 too, there's the top 10 are a bunch of killers, and I don't know if he, like, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think he has.
It's going to be interesting to see, which transitions nicely, Oz, into Conor McGregor firing back at Justin Gaethje, who said he'll quit if Conor gets a title shot after potentially defeating Chandler.
Yeah, but we had this conversation before, right? This is getting back to, do you make the money fight and you make the fight the fans want to see, or do you do what's fair, right? Like, what's fair? And I know, like, you and I would probably say, you lean on the fair. And obviously sometimes there's a fight that just makes sense, right? Because the history or the storyline or whatever. But if Conor beats Chandler, like, look at Chandler and Conor's record. They're both, like, have terrible records in the last 4 fights. So
they put on a show. They're showmen right now.
Exactly. And Chandler, like, both those guys are amazing fighters. Like, they're legends, right? I'm just saying, I talk too critical, like I'm something, but no, Chandler, yeah, just even Chandler, I kind of talked down on. I'm just saying his record. If Conor were to beat him, I don't think he deserves a shot against Makhachev. Like, he has to fight another top 3 guy, top 5 guy, in order to justify that, right?
Okay. You're saying that Conor, even if he beats Chandler, he has to beat someone else before getting a title shot, or else the UFC starts to lose that credibility and it starts going all showbiz, not enough professionalism. You think comments by Gaethje and people starting to be like, the fuck, like, fighters and employees start losing respect.
Well, look, you have Gaethje saying that he'll leave the UFC, right? Gaethje's like, I know we're going to talk about this later, but he's one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC, right?
He's a high value player.
Exactly. And you have guys like Beneil Dariush, who's been on a win streak and who deserves that title shot. So if you start disappointing these people and people start leaving the promotion, that's when you're like, your balancing indicators is offside. Like now now
It's
those
such a teeter-totter game for the UFC to play.
Yeah. So I mean, will it they'll probably make more money in that fight than anything I'm saying even matters about, right? Like at the end of the day, that'll be such a big event and spectacle that what I'm saying will be so irrelevant by then. I'm just saying if we're talking about what ought to be versus what is, I guess that's what I'm. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I think that the UFC is gonna do, like Dana says it himself. Like, I put on the fights that the people want to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a fight people want to see, and that's what I think will happen, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And what sucks though is you're right. It starts to go into the way of showbiz, and the UFC goes into the showbiz business, and the other leagues go into the competitive, real league business. I think that's the way. What do you guys think? Let's go into the next one, Oz. Dustin Poirier reacts to Justin Gaethje's claims that he is the most exciting fighter in UFC history. And then he pretty much says that I was fighting before Gaethje was like in the UFC, before he was a name. He thinks, I haven't fact checked that too, but like he was putting on fights of the year back then, 2012. So for Gaethje to say he's the most exciting fighter in UFC history, that's a claim. That's bold when you've got the likes of, Dustin Poirier. You've got the likes of, like, who's super exciting. We've got freaking Silva. We've got so many exciting fighters in UFC history. Even Conor McGregor. So, yeah, talk to me on that. Who's the most exciting fighter, Oz?
So, man, you got to say you're the most exciting fighter. Like, why wouldn't you say that? Especially when
no one's gonna toot it for you, right?
Yeah, like you have to say, like, look, I'm the they had this debate before. I'm the best boxer in the UFC, and then Max Holloway has that epic moment against Cato where he's like, I'm the best boxer in the UFC, and he's like, he does like some he throws a combo and like slips up, like it's everyone should be saying that. Like, that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I like that Dustin Poirier is like, man, like he's checking him too on that, because Dustin Poirier beat Gaethje too. And so, and it could be a potential fight too. So I mean, like, I think this is not like this is good banter. You know what I mean? This is good. This is good discussion and debate. If you're asking me who the most exciting fighter is in the UFC, that's like, I think Gaethje's up there though. Like like Gaethje, Poirier as well. Poirier is up there, man. Unless somebody mauls Poirier, he's in an exciting fight, and same with Justin Gaethje, right?
Would you say John Jones is an exciting fighter?
I wouldn't say he's as exciting as these guys. If I had to compare him, he's exciting in the fact that he's so smart in his fights, and he like always implements the right game plan. He's able to adapt. He's able to kind of nullify a fighter's strength. So quickly too, I don't know if we missed the Gaethje saying he can knock out Islam Makhachev.
Yes, we didn't cover that. Gaethje says he could knock out Islam Makhachev. He says that if he fights the perfect fight, he can take him out. Your thoughts on that?
So I gotta protect my boy Islam Makhachev here, but no, regardless of if it was Islam or anybody else that he's talking about, I don't think I've seen Gaethje fight a perfect fight. I feel like his most controlled fight was Tony Ferguson. And Tony Ferguson was kind of on a decline, like that, he had taken so much damage in the fights before that. But if you look at, like, in every other fight, he's like got knocked down or got dropped, or like was a little bit kind of reckless.
He has not fought a perfect fight in the UFC yet.
I'm saying that, he's not a guy. First of all, he's one of my favorite fighters too. Like, I love watching Justin Gaethje. He is one of the most exciting fighters, and I like him. And can he knock anybody out? He can. But I mean, if we're talking stats,
it's not impossible. If he does fight,
it's not impossible. But the probability that he's knocking out somebody as well-rounded as Islam, like it's it's maybe 1 out of 15 times, in my opinion. So 1 out of 15 times, I
he
feel
legit
like
has to fight the perfect fight, and Islam has to have an off fight, right? Because if Islam also fights the perfect fight, then
anything could happen. I mean, like, everyone thought he was gonna knock out Habib, and he had wrestling. Like, Justin Gaethje's a wrestler in college, but look how that translated. Like, MMA is different, and like I said, Gaethje, like, he has times where he looks very composed, but he's not somebody that comes to mind when I think about like a composed fighter who fights a perfect fight, who's defensive. Like, if you look at how many strikes he's eaten, that's a big thing for me. I love these fighters that are more defensive in nature too, right? Because I know they're gonna have a longer career and they take less damage. So, anyways, I don't think that's. I think that's like ridiculous. But you know what? Maybe he's trying to get that fight. Maybe he's trying to build that
trying
drama.
to get some attention. Like, you've got to do it somehow. Seeing by the state of the UFC and what you got to do. Like,
it's all fair game. You didn't say anything disrespectful. Like,
respect. If you fight the perfect fight, Justin, you could win.
And you should think you're gonna beat him like that, because you're not beating him any other way.
If you fight the perfect fight, you probably do win, because he probably doesn't fight the perfect fight.
No, I'm saying that he has to say that and think that. Because there's no other way he's winning.
Absolutely.
He's not beating Islam Makhachev in a decision. He's not beating Islam Makhachev in any other way. So and 1 out of 15 times he'll beat Islam Makhachev, in my opinion.
If you don't believe it, like, it's unlikely. You're right.
Yeah, you have to. So I mean, he's trying to. I mean, listen, he's getting overlooked. Like, we're talking about Conor, we're talking about all these other fighters too. The UFC's not, like, they gave him a title shot already. But I'm just actually, did he have 2? Yeah, because he fought Oliveira and he
Conor
fought
McGregor
Habib.
actually bashed him for it.
Did you see what Conor tweeted
at him in response to him saying he'd quit if Conor left.
No.
Conor said, Gaethje, this brain dead fool got a title shot off of one single win, and it was versus Chandler. Yet he will quit and retire if I get the same thing. Classic Gaethje bird brain. Jackass, 2 title attempt, no wins.
Yeah, I mean, that's he's right. He's right too. But he has to keep that same energy when he, like, if he's saying those things too, he's opening himself up to the same criticism, right? So yeah, like, he's right there though about Gaethje. Like, he's had 2 shots, and if he wins 2 more, then I mean, you can't, because he's fighting. You also have to remember, he's fighting top level competition
nonstop.
Yeah, he's fighting top 5 every single time. Fiziev, I don't think was top 5. I think he was top 6, but or he was 6th or 7th or something like that. But
that's right on the verge.
Yeah, it's right on the verge. Like, so Gaethje's also he's been more active. He's been fighting. Like, a lot of things to consider. But he's not knocking out Islam Makhachev if they fight, bro.
Love it.
Even if he fights a really good fight, I don't think he has a chance. Like, he's,
Love it. April 8th, we got a big fight coming up. Stone Hands Pereira versus the style bender Israel Adesanya.
Well, this fight is a perfect stylistic matchup. This is like world-class kickboxing in MMA with smaller gloves. Like you said, you have power and durability, and just like stone cold face killer versus like a technical striking tactician.
Ninja.
Like feints. He's so amazing, right? So this fight, like, because listen, if Pereira fights anybody else that has a wrestling background or a grappling background, he could be in some big trouble, right? So, every time these guys have fought 4 times now. This will be their 4th fight. I mean, right?
Crazy.
So it's always been a game of.
They fought 2 times before the UFC. Once in the UFC, this will be their 4th fight.
Exactly. So every fight has been close. And despite how close and how competitive, and even, the first fight went to decision, where some people rewatching the fight said that they would have gave the decision to Israel Adesanya. Second fight, Izzy was winning on the scorecards. Was kind of had a little bit of edge in the fight, and then got knocked out by that left hook. And then the third fight, Izzy's 3 minutes away from a decision win, most likely, right? And he meets that he takes a body shot, a left hook, like Pereira's pressing the whole 5th round, and he's he gets wobbled, and then he gets TKO'd
just like that,
bro.
Just
Every
like
single
that.
one of these
How
fights,
quickly things can change.
every single one of these fights is so close. It's like the perfect two people to fight each other, right?
The perfect rivalry, huh?
Yeah.
It's
And
freaking
so like
Ash Ketchum, and who's his rival? I don't know.
who?
You grew up in Pokemon days. Who's Ash's rival?
I don't. I just know Pokemon. That's
Okay.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. This is the perfect rivalry.
And
stylistically.
And for Izzy, like now he wants this so bad, and he felt like he was so close every fight. And like besides Blachowicz in MMA, I mean, he hasn't lost. So like I feel like Pereira is the one man that has his number, right? Like he's the one guy that just like Izzy was 3 minutes away from being like and still right remaining the champion. And so
if you're Izzy now, what do you do? What do you do going into this fight?
I think
How do you play this differently?
You mix it up more, man. Yeah, he's got it.
You've got to be the style bender, huh?
I think he needs to wrestle a little bit. He needs to have some more top control. Like I think if he can take down Alex 2 rounds, maybe he gasses him out a little bit, right? Because Alex came alive in that 5th round, man, and he was just like he was pressuring, he was throwing. He did a lot of work to like Alex does a lot of work to the body too. That probably slowed Izzy down.
Paid dividends.
Yeah, man. The leg kick's going to be there for Pereira, but yeah, I think if Izzy wants to win, he has to land some takedowns, keep some top control, make it a more boring fight, and utilize the things that Pereira doesn't have as much experience in, right? And
I would love to see Izzy implement like some plays from John Jones's book, right? Some more ground game and some more elbows and knees.
Yeah,
like that's what he's got to do because he doesn't have that raw power, I think, in his fists and kicks alone. Like you've got to utilize. Look, Pereira's so big. You've got to utilize the more dangerous weapon, right? That elbow. I mean, getting struck by an elbow versus a fist, that's just makes a difference.
Yeah, but then you're in like you land elbows when you're closer too, right? So it's like Izzy like does a lot of feints.
Izzy doesn't want to get close with Alex.
Yeah, he doesn't want that left hook, bro. It's put him,
Shit.
It's put him in trouble twice.
Yeah, I like your tactic. I like your strategy.
And I think Pereira. Oh no, I'm not like. There's so many people that are like when I talk to them.
No.
Like,
I mean,
yeah,
like straight up, we're just two guys talking, But it would be sick to get freaking coaches on here and discuss that. I mean,
we will one day for sure.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
And then what I was gonna say. Oh, for Pereira too, I think he needs to like be a little bit more cautious because he almost lost in the first round, right? Like the first round he got tagged, right? He got tagged, and then he was like, if there was 10 seconds left in that round, yeah, Izzy could have won in round 1. So I think Alex needs to be a little bit more cautious in round 1 and kind of keep his distance too, feel out a little bit, and but I mean, like you see those guys, like you see Pereira's training videos on. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, I see some of
that guy's sparring all the time, and he looks ferocious, man. He looks scary and stone cold to his face. He could win the lottery. Or
no
the worst
emotion.
thing in the world could happen in his
Poker
face, bro.
Yeah.
And I think Pereira's like taking it seriously, and I think Izzy wants it so bad. This could be an amazing fight. And unless Izzy takes him down, which he probably should, then it'll be like a slower fight. But I'm so excited for this fight, man. Who do you have winning? What do you think's gonna happen?
Who do I have winning?
Yeah.
My reason and bias, because I'm biased because I consume MMA content, and I think I watched Henry Cejudo breaking this fight down, and he was I could be mistaken, but I watched a good amount of it, but he was saying that because Izzy lost the last one, he has a very large disadvantage going into this one. and so there was more on it. I don't remember what right now. But to answer shortly, I think Alex Pereira has the advantage, but I think Izzy is greatness, and I think Izzy gets the win. If I'm a betting man, I'm betting a small amount on Izzy. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think it's split. I've heard a lot of analysts say Izzy by decision. And then I've heard, I think Cejudo.
Do you think Izzy Izzy could implement the same tactic he did last time and just not get caught this time, and that's the way to go, right?
I mean, yeah, but that has never worked for him.
Yeah, it's
so
always been too close, right?
Yeah, I think
he got to be a little bit more agile, Izzy.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. Like, and Pereira is getting more confidence too. Like, look at Edwards versus Kamaru Usman, right? It's a little bit different because it was a walk-off KO, but still, like, it does something to that person's psyche, and then the other person gets more confident, and like, like I've heard that every time, because Glover Teixeira trains Alex Pereira, right? So every time they're together, Alex makes Glover watch the fight again. So they've watched the fight, I think, like 50 times or 100 times. Like,
that's what's up. That's Mike Tyson.
So, yeah, they're obsessed, right? So I think I just feel like, I feel like Pereira is gonna do it again, man. I'm just gonna go with I'm gonna go with 100% victory rate, 3 fights. It's a good enough sample size that you're like, you know what? There's a good chance this man's gonna win again. I think he just has his card, man. Like, and listen,
do you think it's KO again? KO, TKO, decision?
Yeah, I think it has to be KO or TKO.
Woo! Woo!
It has to be, man.
We'll see.
Because, like, yeah, and I mean, like, this is, it's such an important fight too. Because if Izzy wins, there's some new blood in that division, right? That are coming from. You have Hamzat now at 185. You have Bo Nickel, who's kind of nowhere near top 10 yet, but he's gonna make a run. You have so many guys that are like, that are there, that are there going to be challenging. And then for Pereira, if he wins, somebody like Chimaev could take him down. That now you have a wrestler that just totally, demantles his biggest strength, which is his power and his left hook, right? So it's an interesting. It means a lot, and this fight's going to be special, man. And I think maybe next week we can talk about Jorge Masvidal versus Gilbert Burns. That's going to be another banger.
Absolutely.
So we can get into that next week. Yeah.
Oh man, good stuff, Oz. I have so much fun doing these. And let's get to work. Let's get these shorts going, and see what the world thinks of how we're doing, what we're doing. If you guys have any ideas, anyone you want us to have on, have context to reach out to someone, like, please let us know. We want to bring value to you guys, and we're doing the best we can. Much love, everyone.
Take care.
Ciao.